So today we're going to take a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. We're now on episode 43 of the series, and in the last episode we saw the complete decolonization of Norway from the North American continent. We also saw some decolonization in Africa. We also saw our daily Madagascar update as usual. And we saw a kind of proxy war happen over here in Persia. And I believe we also saw the Catalonian ethnical skirmish going on. And I'm pretty sure that's all we saw last episode. So yeah, let's get started. But first, I assume you've noticed that I slightly altered the colors of some countries. Basically, I just wanted every country to have a unique color, so I just slightly altered the colors of countries that had the same color, and that lays with everybody having a unique color. Hooray, now let's get started. Now, in the last episode, at the end, we saw the start of the Great Depression with the whole political crisis in India resulting into the Great Depression because India kind of helped out basically the world out with their economy since they weren't doing so hot pre and post World War II. And if India kind of causing the Great Depression accidentally, that's gonna cause some countries to not have great stability. Now let's go into the stability layer over here. Yeah, this layer is going to alter, let's say, because of the Great Depression. Now let's see the countries that are going to be heavily affected by the Great Depression. We have this country over here. Going from a yellow stability to an orange stability. And now the neighboring country right next to them is going to go from an orange stability to a dark red stability. And if you know anything about Wixos, you would know that if a country has dark red stability, that means that they are in active collapse. So we'll cover the fiasco in this country later on. And the Communist Union, with their ideology, it's gonna kind of shoot themselves in the foot here with being communist in the Great Depression. That isn't gonna fare well so good. So they're gonna go from a lime stability to an orange stability. Yikesies. And this former fascist country is also gonna go into a active collapse. And the neighboring country over here's stability is gonna go to orange. And yeah, that it's rough for lots of these countries. And the only change in Europe is Serbia going from a lime stability to a dear God. Serbia goes from a lime stability to a red stability because of the Great Depression. And the Turkish Union is like, can you deal with that yourself? Or do you kind of need us to back you up? And the leader of Serbia is like, shove a fork up your... Here in North America, the kind of like Oregon country, Northern Californian country. Well, basically, they're going to go into a red stability. Now they're matching with the Utah country. That's fun, or not. And these two countries are both going to go into a dark red stability. And to make things even worse for the Central American countries, these Costa Rica and Honduras are both going to enter a orange stability. And El Salvador is going to enter yellow stability. The Great Depression is hitting Central America hard. Don't clip that. And for Colombia, the Great Depression makes them go from a lime stability into a yellow stability. Ugh. Yeah. And I'm not trying to foreshadow anything, but this might get worse over time. And Uruguay is gonna go to a lime stability. Not too bad for Uruguay. It could be worse. It could definitely be worse. At least they're not Central America. And now the last continent that'll have any changes is the Eastern Madagascar country is gonna go to a red stability. And I'm too lazy to make any more changes, so yeah, that's about it for the changes. Now let's talk about this country that's in active collapse. A revolution is going to start in this country, which a certain country down under is not going to be a big fan of what's about to happen here. As the dictator of this country, he is basically, the revolutionaries are like, hey, this guy is weak. He has led this country into the ground. We can fix it. Just join us into our revolution, and it will fix all the problems. Basically, the guy leading this rebellion, basically, let's say that he kind of got rejected from medical school, and he was like, I'll dive into politics. And he sees a great opportunity, is like, hell yeah. So anyway, this fascist rebellion forms, and it has a lot of support from the people, because the rebellion can just watch on over here, and lots of citizens welcome them with open arms, being radicalized. And the actual country is gonna fight back. They are going to push back the front over here with the little support they have left, and they are going to fully capitulate this side of the rebellion. But it's not all going according to plan, as the entire southern area of this country is cut in half, and it gets to a point where India is going to call on their ally in the dark purple country to deal with this. This country roughly says, like, well, wait, but we're in the Great Depression right now. I might not be able to afford joining this war. And just like, I don't care, I just don't want any fascists on my border, okay? You guys already dealt through that in World War II. I don't want a repeat of that. And they're like, well, fine. And they're not going to join on the side of the dictatorship. They're going to join on their own side, the democratic side. And it's gonna go well at first, but after capturing the capital city and meeting up with the actual fascist rebellion, these guys kind of run out of money. Like, they are printing like $1,000 bills, and that's when you know you're cooked. as now this country, much to India's dismay, is gonna go from the orange stability they were before into a dark red stability, and India's like, oh no, what have I done? But it's not just that, as while we're at it, this country, it also completely collapses as well, dragging these two countries into the dictatorship's civil war. And the fascists over here are like, well, we might as well just go ahead and do it. And what I mean by that is they are just going to move on their incursions into the Lime country, and they are going to swiftly capture this major city and go along the coast through the mountains and getting the capital of the Lime country. And if I sound tired, it's because I am. I don't have lots of motivation to work on this video, but hey, this is better than recording friggin' remake, which is why I'm doing this right now. And now with the influence of the fascists over here, this communist country is going to erupt in rebellion as well. So now we see more fascists consolidate in the dark purple country, and we see a new democratic rebellion over here, which India is gonna fund. Although the funding might not be very well, since that idiot in India that caused the Great Depression, and he's still in power. They haven't found anyone to replace him yet, which is why this whole skirmish is even happening in the first place. So all the fascists are going to meet up with the other fascists and consolidate their front more, while these guys are on their own and just kind of do their own thing. They capture this major city, and with funding from Mongolia, they are handling the Great Depression well. They're going to spearhead over to this major city, and then they're going to station some troops over in Mongolia and pushing over here, capturing in the capital, while the fascists over in the north move in for this major city and this one, now cutting off the communist access to the dark purple country. And it's a whole fiasco happening over here. And at this point, remember, the great powers of the world have to step in to try and solve this, because Jesus Christ, this whole situation is bad. And even gets to the point where this neighboring country that has done nothing for a while, it's gonna be like, okay, that's it, I'm going in. And they're going to push their troops and capture this major city and this enclave, ignore that they went right through the fascists. They also invade the fascists' gains over here, since these guys are democratic from India. And these guys just want to put a stop to this whole thing. And they even capture this enclave and move into the fascist front over here. And yeah, this thing I'm looking at looks disgusting, so I'm sorry that you guys have to be forced to do this along with me. In the end, the Democrats kind of just meet up with the fascists, and they're like, on what, we need to put an end to this whole thing. Want to sign a non-aggression pact? My fascists are like, fine, but just this once. Only because I also want the Civil War to end already. And after the consolidation of this front over here, the great powers of the world are going to solve this dispute, leading to the end of this war. And now we'll take a look at a peace treaty. And in this peace treaty, we see, boy, does this area look different. Thank the Great Depression, everyone. Basically, the Democratic Rebellion gets its independence from the Dark Purple country. The fascists gain control over this big area. The Dark Purple country still exists, and the communist government is still in place. If the Mongolians got a little bit of land out of this, and you might be wondering why. It's because, well, they did fund the Democrats, and Democrats did invade this area. So as a token of appreciation and thank you, the Democrats decided to give Mongolia this land, which Mongolia is thankful for. And this Dark Kyrgyzstan country takes some land from the Pink country, which, as you can see, has been heavily reduced. And if you're wondering why the border here is so bad, blame old me for these god awful provinces. Like, look at this. What the frig is this province, bruh? But I'm too lazy to change it, so you're gonna have to deal with this. You and I will suffer through this together. Now deal with it. But yeah, let's move on. Now, we're gonna have our daily decolonization update, but this one will be way bigger than the last one because Great Depression, not being able to control colonies very well, because of Great Depression. Great Depression plus post-World War II equals decolonization. Maths with Chilean. Oh yeah, let's start with the African decolonization. And in this decolonization update, we see a bunch of new countries. Why say it like that? Countries. I know, I'm weird. And first, we'll start off with the Angolan Welsh colony. So we see a new, Zambia country here. Also see a Malawi country over here and an Angolan country here. Now to the Norwegian colony, we see a reddish Niger or Chad country here. We also see a Central African Republic type country. And we also see a DRC type colony, not colony, country. And over here in the Welsh colony, we see the Mauritania. And I could just say that this is the old Mauritanian country that was once here and just color it this color. But I don't think that color looks so well here, so I'll just keep this color since it looks better. And over here we also see a Burkina Faso country, and over here a Liberia country. And yeah, these colonial borders are so ugly that I'm not even gonna update the stability layer here because of decolonization of Norway and Wales may or may not be ending next episode. So keep a lookout for that. And while we're here, let's do our daily Madagascar update. And in our daily Madagascar update, this country collapses. Their stability is critical at red, and it's gonna go to maroon, which basically means this country collapses. And these two countries are like, you know what, let's just divide this guy up while we're at it. And in the end, the division of the countries like this, a straight line. Now you have two countries left. So the end of Daily Madagascar updates is next episode. And let's not talk about these guys because these guys are chill. They've done nothing. I respect that. Now, before we move on to the full decolonization of Wales in the American continent, I'm going to talk about the Turkish Union for a moment. Because sure, the whole Great Depression is happening right now. They still got those 4 nukes. And they may or may not be making even more. So, they're not gonna, like, mass produce them yet. And besides, it's the Great Depression, so their nuclear number is gonna go from 4 and go up to 15. And, yeah, expect, like, small amounts each time. Like, it's only 11 more nukes, but this is about the amount that the Turkish Union will be producing till they start mass producing, which will be in the near future. Now, moving on, we're now going to see the full decolonization of Wales on the South American continent and the North American continent. We'll get to that later. Now it's the South American territory. Sure, Wales got like this. Well, not that. It's more of like this. Wales did get all of this land in the World War II peace treaty, but this land isn't really all that valuable, and this land was probably already gonna get its independence. So let's see what color these guys are gonna be. It could be plenty of colors. And in the end, we see a goldish Brazilian country over here, which is not expansionist. And all of the countries in South America breathe a sigh of relief. Whew. Now, let's move on that because that's going to be irrelevant for the rest of this episode. As now we're going to talk about the decolonization of Wales on the American continent. Yippee! Now, for the decolonization of Wales in North America, we are left with this. Yeah. Decolonization of Wales. Here. Wales actually decided to give Louisiana over to a purple team. Because the purple team bought it. And Wales was like, you gotta pay a little bit more for the amount of land you want. And since the purple team is kind of poor right now because of, the Great Depression, they didn't get a whole lot. Ideally, they wanted this land. But, not everyone can get what they want. And the purple team has to accept that. So yeah, we see a Georgian Floridian country over here. We see the Jamaican Empire and the Puerto Rican Empire. Yeah. Now, after a while, this Indian and leader, which is horrible at managing this country, decides to have some good relations with the Turkish Union. And then when the guy finally gets out of office, this new guy isn't a big fan of the Turkish Union, and the Turkish Union is like, hey, maybe can you guys have that back? And India's like, what? Hell no. That guy literally caused the Great Depression. Well, yeah, but I'm handling it fine. Well, not everyone is. Not everything's about you, bozo. Well, and Turkish Union is like, rude. But yeah, And that'll do it for today's episode of What If Civilization Started Over. Please leave a like and subscribe, smash the notification bell, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye.